Welcome to the Share Your Energy Conference, 4th edition. We have 650 participants registered. Majority of those number is participating just now, looking at this live video. I'm going to introduce you to the topics of today's conference. You know the headlines. We've seen those headlines for a few months now. It's all about money. Energy trading has been always zero-sum game. But historically, the losers and winners had much smaller difference than they have now. If you look at business customers who would have bought power 3 weeks ago for 1,000 euros per megawatt hour would have lost 25 million euros compared to the current prices. That's a massive difference. Few years ago, business customers were running tenders just to save 20 cents per megawatt hour on the commodity. Now, the differences are massive. Traders, suppliers, in terms of cash, it was 150,000 euros needed to hedge 1 megawatt, just 1 year or 2 years ago. Today, it's not the question whether to hedge or not to hedge. The question is whether hedging is solving P&L or whether it's solving cash. In terms of total amount of cash needed for hedging, small company like Nano would need several billions of Czech koruna to be able to hedge, several millions of euros. Disposable income. Domestic customers pay several times more for the bill than they did a few years ago. Yesterday, the government announced the price cap. The price cap is obviously going to get implemented, but domestic customers will have less disposable income. We all know what is going to happen when domestic customers don't have disposable income. There is going to be a recession. But there are also winners of current situation. If you look at this graph, you will see that Russia is receiving the same amount of money for less gas than they did last year. But Russia is not the only country, or Gazprom is not the only company. There are many miners, oil and gas companies that are benefiting from the high commodity prices. And obvious winners are power producers. If they have a fixed input and if they did not sell the power well in advance. If they did, they don't make money that we see in the media today. The first panel, that will be in less than an hour, will be discussing the topics that I just was talking about. These are the topics that are very imminent, topics that we are going to talk about over the next few months. These are the topics of next winter. I will be asking questions about the price caps, not only for the price cap of the domestic customer, also the price caps for the producers. We will be discussing how the grid is ready for the next winter, whether we have enough gas or not. The next panel, the second one, will be discussing the topics that are more long-term, 1 to 5 years. And the reason why we should talk about the topics of 1 to 5 years is that because there are going to be large changes in the way how we manage the grid. We all know that coal power plants will be decommissioned. Some of them will stay longer, but eventually they will be decommissioned. And it doesn't matter whether this number should be 65, 50, or 70. We will not have coal in a few years' time. Also, we cannot rely on Russian gas. We will have gas. We will buy it somewhere else. It will be more expensive, and we will probably not build as many gas power plants as we expected. When you look at the strategy document from TSO or other energy policymakers a few years ago, you would see that the massive development of renewables, it means the instability of grid, was solved by building gas power plants. Gas power plants is going to be built, but there will be fewer of them. Not only that, there will be very huge investments into building renewables. This number is 400 gigawatts, but it will be much larger number than this. These are the official numbers. Why there will be such a massive development of renewables? Because it will make sense to private investors. We will not need subsidies from the state. Private investors will build not only solar PV on the rooftops of small houses, but there will be large projects built across Europe. The grid will not be stable as it is now. If you look at the equation, we will be decommissioning coal power plants, which is flexibility. We will have less gas, and we will build renewables. Altogether, the grid will be volatility short. There will be opportunity for some traders of short end of the curve will have more opportunities, and flexible assets as well. But for grid operators, there will be plenty of work on their plate to do. That's exactly what we are going to discuss during the second panel. This map is showing the demand-side flexibility across Europe, how individual countries are ready to use or how they accept demand response. If you look at this map 12 years ago, you would see that there is no red tone in the map. To explain you the map, the darker the red, the country is more ready to use demand response as a way to balance the grid. In 1 to 5 years, the whole Europe will be dark red because it will be necessary to manage the grid with the demand side, not just the supply side. And what will be driving the innovations? Two things, the price and the volatility. We don't know what is going to be the price next year or 2 years in advance. Price probably it's not going to be 1,000 euros, but it's not going to be 20. So there will be opportunities for companies that innovate, but also for companies that create products that are based on volatility. It can be residential flexibility. It can be energy communities. We will cover those topics during today's conference. So who is organizing today's conference? Nano Energies. We are in existence of 14 years. It's 100 of us. We are based in Prague, and our core product is flexibility. This is the timeline of today's conference. It's updated on the website. And these are the partners. Special thank you to CHEPS, Czech TSO, and Association for E-Mobility. And throughout of today's conference, you can ask questions. At any point in time, you can ask questions. Use Slido. Type question into Slido, and whenever there is an opportunity, I will ask that question to speakers. Also, we will do polls. We did them last year. We will ask questions, you answer. Easy questions, nothing difficult. You don't have to have prior knowledge. And we will try such a poll just now. So the first poll that we will do, I will ask for the poll. Should consumers work with energy data? Average consumers would like to access to live energy data to help them make better decisions about energy use. Average consumers don't want to worry about detailed energy use data and would rather everything be managed by algorithm. You have a few seconds to answer. And before you answer the questions, I will introduce a next speaker. Next speaker is Michael Villa. Michael has a long experience in the energy sector. Michael is Italian. You wouldn't recognize that once you see Michael. And he is the executive director of Smarten for almost 4 years. Michael worked in the European Parliament as well, and he's got a wealth of experience around policy making, etc. So, results of the first poll are: majority of you, close to 60%, believes that average consumers shouldn't worry about detailed energy use, and it should be managed by algorithm. So the next speaker is Michael Villa.